Guys and dolls, Freedom Dad here, and I'm with Tulip. It's Tuesday morning. It's no bad. It's a wee bit damp. You know, I can't even tell you if it's raining or if it's drizzling, but it's definitely not dry. But I hope you're all having a good day. I don't know if any of you caught my wee post I put up earlier. Just giving you a wee heads up about the video. Give you a wee quick rundown on my life. Everything's good. Baby is doing absolutely amazing. We did have a wee bit of a scare with the pooing. Yeah, you know, very difficult. I mean, very difficult when the baby's looking at you and straining and struggling, and you know, you just don't know what to do, you know. So, and everybody has a tip of what's the best way, and there's so many, and like it's difficult, you know. First time parents. But we got through that bit, and baby's bowels are moving, everything's good, pooing fine. You know, we did say whenever we were going through it, me and Katie said to each other, there's going to be a day when we're going to regret this, you know, complaining about her not pooing. So, yeah. Hey, Tulip, come here. She's okay. She's okay. Just another doggy. I'll come back. Sorry about that, guys. Young guy with a dog. Don't know if you can see him just disappearing there. Really nice guy, lovely dog. Just telling him about recoil because his dog wouldn't come back to him there, so that's why I hang it up just in case it was a troublesome dog. But dog, I did give her a wee nip and she yelped and she came running to me and tried to jump up on my lap, up into my arms. You know what I mean? But just a wee accidental nip when they were playing. But it'll do her world of good. She needs to learn. She can't just run up to any dog the way she does. And yeah. I knew there wasn't going to be much trouble with that. It's more like a wee labradoodle poodle sort of thing, you know what I mean? So they're pretty much okay, them kind of dogs. And when I see a dog like that out in the field, off the lead, then I know I can be pretty sure the dog's going to be okay because it's free. It's running about. It's no agitated. There's no built-up aggression. Anything it's built up, it's got out of it running about this field before we came, you know. So little things like that, you can always like just use a wee bit of common sense and look at everything logical like I do, you know what I mean? Not all dogs are like that. Doesn't matter what type of dog. If a dog's kept in the house all the time and walked on the lead all the time and it never gets a run, and it can turn nasty because it's just built up aggression, just like anybody. But listen, guys, I don't want to go on and on. I want to get to my video, and you know, it's one of them videos where I do sometimes think I'm going to lose followers here, but you know, it's not going to stop me doing it. You know what I mean? I don't do this for followers, as you know. But you know, I just don't like upsetting people. You know what I mean? Neither, and you know, I think if anybody gets upset with this video, then probably best they weren't on my channel, to be honest with you, because you know, pretty much I like this person and I agree with everything she says, obviously, and I know quite a lot of people like her, and I've met people like her, and this is why I'm able to bring these videos in a level-headed way, you know. And I like to think that's why you can listen to my videos and take what I say, you know what I mean, because of my experiences, people who I've met in the past, things I've been through, you know. Like I say, that's all I'm trying to do, you know, make everything make sense to you, and hopefully this helps you a wee bit. So without further ado, let's get into the video.
Quite frustrated, and my whole entire weekend I was just thinking what the hell to do, because sadly there are a bunch of Muslim children in my son's year who have been misguiding him. I feel they are misguiding him, and I don't know what to do about it, to be honest. So I thought if I make this video, then you guys can hopefully advise, regardless of whatever your race and religion is.
So this is Labrina. She is a moderate Muslim, and I just want you to watch the video and just see her like I do, just like, you know, just a normal human being, you know what I mean? But I'm trying to explain and show people the trouble and the problems other Muslims have. And this is what I keep saying to people about segregation and communities being segregated. And this is probably why some people have never met a moderate Muslim, or probably even a Muslim like in person, or stood and spoke or got to know a Muslim properly. Because there is a stigma. When we see mass men and we see groups of Muslim defence leagues running about, hunting and targeting young men from this country because they think they're EDL, and it's a lot to do with the government, obviously, telling these people horror stories, and a lot to do with people like Nick Knowles, who's able to come out online and tell people that Muslims are being hit with acid and create an absolute nightmare for some people. Muslims went out on the street and men were beat because of that man, and he still hasn't been investigated for it. But yet we have guys doing time for a lot less. You know, let's just listen to this amazing woman.
Basically, this is an update video from the one that I posted a couple of months ago. And the video that I posted a couple of months ago was about a Muslim Bangladeshi girl in my son's classroom who told my son that, oh, because we are Muslims, we are not allowed to be friends with people who are non-Muslims, right? And I told you guys in that last video that my son told me this, and then I had to sit. I was shocked, like they even having this kind of conversation at this age. I mean, they're only 7 years old, right? And B, I had to then sit down with him and discuss things that I thought I'm going to have to discuss when he's a bit older. Now, the update here is that what's now happened over the last couple of weeks, and he's been telling me, my son has been telling me this, is that it's not now just one Muslim child saying stuff to him. It's all the Muslim children have been saying stuff to my son. And what I want to do is list out all the things that they've been telling him that I've had to have a chat with him about. And the first one is the one about the friends that I mentioned, right? This started off with a Bangladeshi Muslim girl telling my son we can't be friends with non-Muslims. Then it progressed on to sweets, haram sweets and halal sweets, and, you know, does it have gelatin, does it have pork? And then my son has been taking sweets from my daughter's hands and not allowing her to eat it in case it's got pork in it, that kind of stuff. Although I said to my son, we're not that strict. We don't eat pork as the meat. But, I mean, we're not going to be too strict when it comes to sweets and stuff because, you know, like, we can't just stop living, can we? So, you know, and then it moved on to I'm playing the music in the car, like on the radio, right? And my son's like, switch it off, it's haram to listen to music. He's like 7 years old, guys. And I'm saying to my son, hold on, it's okay, like, chill, right? Just relax, enjoy your life, like, as long as it doesn't have any swear words or any naughty words, right, which some songs do, like, it's fine to listen to music, like, seriously. Oh my God, and then last week, what then happened is, and my son came home, and he's saying to me, oh, there's a Muslim child, a Muslim boy. And he's saying to my son, oh, because we're Muslims, we're not allowed to have girlfriends when we're bigger. Now, again, I'm shocked at the age of 7, they're discussing this kind of stuff, right? So part of me laughed, but then the other part of me was quite pissed off because, again, it's like, oh, we're Muslim, so we can't do this. We're Muslim, so we can't do that. And then, I mean, I can't discuss the ins and outs of relationships with my child at the age of 7. So then again, I'm having to explain to him, like, A, we need to cross that bridge when we get to it. And then B, it's not about, oh, we're Muslim, so we can't have boyfriends and girlfriends. It's just so complicated, isn't it? It's like, why are these children having these conversations with my son at this age, right? Because they're being brainwashed at home by their family, who are telling their children this from a very young age. And then the other one was the Christmas one really pissed me off, right? So my son came home last week and then he's like, oh, the Muslim children in the class said we're not allowed to celebrate Christmas. So no gifts, no cards. And that would explain why when I went to my children's Christmas craft fair event where the parents were invited as well, there was not a single Muslim parent. And that was so sad because all the children were waiting in the hall, waiting for the parents to come, right? And everyone's parents, most children's parents did come, apart from the Muslim children's parents, and they were just sitting on their own, doing the craft on their own. Actually, some of them weren't even doing the craft. Sorry, there was 1 or 2 heads I saw that were Asian without any parents, but then most of the children were put in another class. So while everyone's enjoying themselves in the hall, in the hall doing crafts for Christmas, the Muslim children are in some room in the corner with a teacher because their parents don't even want them to participate in the Christmas crafts. So,
Pretty sad, isn't it? Let's be honest, it's pretty sad. You know, guys, like I've said in the past, there's It's not just what you think. Nothing's ever what it seems, you know. And like, there's Muslims that have came to this country, that have came here to get away from the extremism of the teachings of the Quran. And like we all know, there's all different sects, different religions, you know. And there's stuff going on in Syria right now, and like it's absolutely horrifying. And this is Muslims against Muslims, you know. There's so much going on, you know, and there's so many people being affected, and sometimes it gets lost, you know. It really does, because there's not enough that people feel that there's not enough Muslims that are. When I come on and say, listen guys, there's Muslims here that don't want this, there's Muslims here who are here to get away from that, and they have problems right now. Can you imagine what it's like for some of these Muslims that are in these areas, like in that area where the police get chased out of, like any Muslim area that just, they're everywhere. And it's just like anybody that came to Britain or America, birds of a feather flock together. I know I keep said that a few times, right? But that's just my way of explaining it to you. But the problem is like Northern Ireland. If you have extremism in them communities, and especially if the police can't go under them, which we now know that's the case, then I feel so sorry for these Muslims, because this is what I've always been trying to say, guys. I've met moderate Muslims when I was younger, guys that became really good friends. I didn't see them any different than any other my friends that I've met in life. They just happened to be Muslim. They never put it in their face, my face. I never put my religion in their face. We talked about stuff. We talked about cultures. We talked about different traditions. And it was really, really, really enjoyable for me, coming from Belfast and meeting people like that. And I have nothing but good experiences that come from it. And it's difficult because I understand, guys, we don't seem to, that seems to have disappeared. You know, I'll be honest. The Muslims that I'm coming up, apart from a few now that I meet, quite a lot of them are they're quite withdrawn. It's almost like they don't trust me, you know. And that comes across as quite, you know, what are you up to, you know, and everything's just going wrong because nobody understands anybody. And I think I want you to be like me, to understand totally what it's all about. Then you can make an educated decision, an opinion, and be part of talking about it. You know, nobody can talk about it because they don't know these things. Everybody's just scared to speak. You can't speak about Muslims. Yes, you can. Yeah, Muslims can speak against Muslims. Anybody can speak against Muslims. Anybody can speak against Christians, Sikhs and Jews. That's just the world we live in. You can criticise people if you don't think something is right. It then needs to debate. It then needs to an understanding and maybe a way forward of working out how we can go forward together in a normal society. A society that we both accept, you know. And that's not happening. What's happening right now is the Labour government are saying, this is what's happening. If you don't like it, you leave. You get me? And the moderate Muslims are horrified right now, and that's what I keep saying to them, because I'm hearing from my friends that are Muslims and are absolutely disgusted because they can see what's happening. It's all about the optics. It's almost like the Labour government are wanting everybody to turn against Muslims, you know. They go on about Islam, you know, everything that they do, the Islamophobia, I'm saying that, yeah, you're frightened of them. It's a fear you've got. It just makes things worse by doing it, and they know that, and Muslims know that. You know, and like any society, there's good and there's bad. Like I keep saying to you guys, you know, such thing as racism is just people that are horrible people. And that's just the way it is. And some horrible people slip through, you know, but you deal with it whatever way you have to deal with it, you know what I mean? But everybody's an individual. It doesn't matter what colour you are, what race you are, what religion you are. I'm going to play a wee bit more and then I'm going to wrap this one up, guys.
Oh my goodness. I'm just so annoyed because I feel like, okay, fine, whatever. You're teaching your children all this, from my perspective, it's nonsense, right? You're teaching your children all this nonsense, but now not only are you teaching your child this nonsense, your child is now misguiding my child, right? When I'm trying to teach my children the opposite of what you people are teaching your children, okay? I'm putting all this effort into correctly guiding my child on how to behave and how to integrate and how to assimilate without having to compromise on his own identity. And I think this is the problem, is there's a lot of identity politics here where a lot of people feel so threatened in taking part in Christmas fairs and activities where they feel like they're going to become less Muslim. It's just stupid. Now, again, if you feel that way, it's none of my business. Feel free to do that and think that way. I think it's a very negative way of thinking and it's very unhelpful. But if you want to do that, no worries. If you want to now teach these things to your children who are only 6 and 7 years old, wow, that, you know, if you don't even want your children to enjoy Christmas, I mean, that says a lot about you. But the problem I'm having is now your children that are misguided by you, your children are now trying to misguide my children. That is the issue that I'm having. And I'm having to have conversations with my children, especially my son, that I didn't think I'm going to have at this age. He's only 7 years old, guys. Like I said, a couple of months ago, it was one Muslim child. A couple of months later, it is all the Muslim children talking all this shit to my son. Now, if you think about it, he is the only Muslim child who's not thinking like that because his mother taught him otherwise and taught him better. But at what point will he, children do get influenced by the children, right? So he's going to have to be really strong unnecessarily because of these other people. Now, I've had to explain to my son that, look, these other parents were probably not born in this country. Right? They've come from Pakistan, Bangladesh, or wherever the hell they've come from. They've come here with the wrong attitude. And I said to my son, they shouldn't have come here if they feel that this would... I said to my son, this is a Christian country. I said, this is a Christian country and we are going to celebrate every single faith's celebrations, whether that's Hindu festival, Diwali, Holi, whether that's Christian festival. I don't care. We're living in a multicultural society and I'm going to enjoy my life. And I'm going to enjoy my life by enjoying everyone else's celebrations as well. That is my mindset. This whole nonsense about, oh, we shouldn't be celebrating Christmas. And I mean, what are these people doing here? Again, it just goes back, in my mind, it just goes back to the fact that why are you here? If you don't, this is a Christian country, like, why are you here? You don't want to celebrate Christmas. You don't want to do this. You look down on Western culture, but here you are enjoying yourselves, a free education system that you guys are getting. That, you know, okay, when I'm saying free, I know it's not free because the taxpayers are paying for it, and I'm a higher rate taxpayer. But you know what I mean. Like, you don't have to pay yourself directly, personally, like you have to do in other countries, right? So I feel like you've come here and you have become so petty, or maybe you always were before coming into this country, where you're just like, you don't want your children to celebrate Christmas. And look, your children are missing out, guys, right? If you are one of those parents who are stopping your children from enjoying Christmas, it's sad, it's pathetic, and your children are going to miss out. You're going to make your children hostile towards the people and everyone else, right? The majority of people in this country are not Muslims, guys. You need to learn to live with other people. And if you feel that you can't, then please migrate out. Consider migrating out of this country. Christmas choirs have already finished. Christmas choirs have already ended in this country in many schools because of you guys, because of your horrible attitude is horrible. Putting your children in a classroom so that they don't participate in Christmas activities.
I cut it there because it was an advert. But I'm going to play a wee bit more. But I just want to pick up a couple of things. So basically, she's saying about the school, I want people to understand from my point of view. So being born in Northern Ireland, like, I was influenced by my mother. There's no two ways about it. My mother was quite patriotic towards Northern Ireland, even though she was Welsh. I never heard the Welsh accent, but my mum was Welsh. I only found that out about 10 years ago, maybe even less than that. And I probably had an idea, but actually when I got my family Bible and proper looked at it, and I realised that a lot of stuff, like, there's stuff inside that takes you right back. I can go back 3-4 generations, and it's quite amazing, you know. So and quite eye-opening, and I'll bring that. That's a video on its own, very interesting video. But what I'm basically saying is that my mum set me on a way that I ended up being a loyalist. There's no two ways about it. I'm not gonna, that's the truth. But on top of that, I went to a Protestant school in South Belfast called Tin Top, the Donegal Road Primary School. And I was there with other Protestant kids from this Protestant area. And then we went on to secondary school. I didn't see much of secondary school first year, that's it, but even didn't even make it the whole way through first year. But what I'm trying to say, it was all Protestants. And you can imagine, if I thought my mum was quite staunch, God knows what other parents were like, and I do know what other parents were like, you know what I mean? Because us kids became parents and, quite bitter, quite bigoted, hating Catholics and all that, very, very strong. I don't think people really understand how much hate that there was between the two communities. And it was all down to the children and how the children were brought up. And my point is that they were still segregating Protestants and Catholics in Northern Ireland. So when people say, will there ever be peace in Northern Ireland? I always say, yes, one day when they stop segregating the children. You start teaching children that Protestants and Catholics can be friends, they will grow up to be friends, and that's the end of the troubles. It's that simple. But on the same note, you can see the same problems exactly here. And this is why I keep worrying about it. That's why I keep highlighting it and telling, because we need people to look into it. It needs to be addressed. We need to nip it in the bud. If you want to be extremist, why be here? Syria has now become an Islamic state. There's no two ways about it. I personally do believe in my heart that an awful lot of Muslims will now leave here and go and live in Syria. Maybe I'm wrong. A lot of you will be thinking, freedom, Dad, no chance. But I'm trying to think that if they really are truly Islamic and they truly are Islamists and they teach and they follow the Quran in that way, Wahhabi or whatever, the extremism of the Muslim religions, and they're going to follow that to the letter, then why would they want to do it in a Christian country? You understand? So I'm looking at it logically, guys. I'm looking at it as how I would be as a man. I would go back to if I couldn't stay in Northern Ireland because it was safe, and then whatever government was overrun, of course you would go back. If there was problems, if your country needed rebuilt, there's so much needs done. If these people are genuine in building a serious country and that wants to be part of the rest of the world, then why would people not want to go there? And it does. We've already found out with ISIS in Iraq and Syria, it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter if you're born in Pakistan, Afghanistan, or anywhere in the world. If Syria will be open to anybody who wants to become that Islamic. If you want to live under Sharia law, let your women cover up and go through all the rest of the stuff that comes with it, then go and stay there. It makes sense, doesn't it? And I think that's where she's coming from. I think, that's the understanding of a lot of moderate Muslims that don't understand. They're here because they want to live in the Western world. They want to enjoy our Christmas, And that's the ideal world, guys. It is an ideal world where we don't lose our traditions. We don't lose our Sunday school songs and our Christmas songs and our nativities. Nativities are disappearing all over England, and I think in some parts of Scotland as well. Where there's a high influx of Muslim children in the school. Schools are changing their traditions, and it's happening because they don't want to offend. And we also see how quick a Muslim mob can come up against a school when they're not happy when something happens. I've brought videos about that as well. But the whole point of this video is it's difficult. Now, I know that you know that I find it difficult doing some of these videos because I always say it, this is hard to do. And I also say it's not me that makes the news, and I only bring to you what people are talking about on the street and what the biggest problems people think are in society right now. And the reason why I talk about them is because if that's what everybody's talking about on the street and people are scared to say it, then it's my job and duty to talk about it for my daughter and try and bring awareness and try and bring discussion and debate and get to the bottom of it and use Northern Ireland. Look at Northern Ireland, look where Northern Ireland went wrong, and then adopt that into England and Scotland and Wales and even Ireland. We've got the power of knowledge. Why don't we use it? We've got the internet. We can research. It's not hard to do. Like I say, I left school when I was in first year. I never educated myself until I was later on in prison. I learned to read and write in prison, basically reading books and writing letters and receiving letters. That was the way it was back in the day. There was no TVs or nothing like that. You're lucky to have a wee radio that took a couple of pencil batteries that were always running out there. Do you know what I mean? And you're having to heat them up in the pipe to try and get a bit of power out of them. Yeah, so that's where I got my education from, and I just don't understand how I'm able to bring this to use and like other people aren't or can't or I don't know what. But I'm going to play a wee bit more, guys, because I'm quite sure you are enjoying this.
It's so sad. It's so sad and it's so pathetic. It's unbelievable. Anyways, I have a Christmas tree. I've had a Christmas tree for many years now in my house. And I'm very happy that I have a Christmas tree. And the one that I had before was bigger. Like, I used to have a bigger, way bigger Christmas tree. But then it was taking up too much space. And the house that I had previously was quite small. And then in this house is bigger. But again, I prefer like a small Christmas tree in the corner versus a really massive one coming in the way. Only now because they're quite small themselves, my children. But as they get bigger, I'm going to have a bigger Christmas tree. But we're going to celebrate Christmas, and my mother always made turkey. You know, we celebrated Christmas in the sense of making turkey and like roast potatoes and like Western food and putting Christmas movies on, you know, and we plan to enjoy this season. And if you're living in the UK and you're going to be miserable during this festive Christmas season, you are the ones missing out, okay? Sorry, going back to the fact that my frustration about this whole thing, I don't know what to do. Like, what am I supposed to do? Tell my son not to mingle with Muslim children because they're just too brainwashed. They're too brainwashed for my son to mingle with them. You know, I'm having to have conversations with my son. I said to my son, these children are saying what their parents have taught them, and I'm teaching you something different. I've said to my son, those children are missing out on everything. You're going to enjoy your life. You're going to do all these things. And I said, don't let anything hold you back. You don't become any less Muslim by enjoying other people's festivals. That's in my personal opinion. And I said to my son, our focus is not on being Muslims. Our focus is on being good human beings. I said to my son, I was born into a Muslim family and he is born into a Muslim family. You know, as long as he's a good human being, that is what our focus is on. Being good human beings. Instead of being party poopers and screwing up other people's celebrations and occasions, we're going to be those people who are going to be in the front of the line. When it comes to Christmas, we're going to be at the front celebrating with all the Christians. When it's going to come to Diwali or Holi, we're going to be at the front with the Hindus celebrating Diwali and Holi. Any Jewish festivals, any festivals of anyone in the whole entire world, we're going to be at the front celebrating with people and not being party poopers. Okay, that's what I want to teach my children. But it is an uphill battle, guys. It's a struggle because, like I said, like these kind of incidences are increasing. These types of stories that my son is telling me is increasing, and I'm so grateful that my child is telling me this stuff. Like, he talks a lot. My son talks a lot. He tells me everything that happened the whole entire day. So I'm extremely grateful. Now, I don't know what happens to children who don't talk to their parents, but he is very alert. He's very he understands things at a very young age. But, you know, like I said, he's only a child. So I don't know what you guys could suggest that I do, right? Because this seems to be a mindset shared by the majority of Muslims in this country. It's the majority. That's the issue I'm having. It's not like, okay, this is a one-off girl. This is now all of them in the bloody whole year saying this kind of stuff. And my son said even the non-Muslim children were saying this to my son, that, oh, you don't celebrate Christmas or you don't do this, because they're hearing it from the other Muslim children. It's ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous. I don't know whether I made sense in this video, but I'm so pissed off. It's unbelievable. Because I feel like I'm trying to teach my son different values to what these people seem to have.
So guys, it is all pretty sad. It is pretty sad. There's no two ways about it. And it is worrying as well, you know. We need people in power that are going to listen to people on the streets. The Labour government do not give a damn. It is clear. It's clear to Muslims and it's clear to us. The people that are happy are the extremism. There's no two ways about it. Anybody that's extremist now will be coming to this country and have been coming to this country. Anybody who wants to do us harm will be coming to this country and has been coming to this country. As I speak, there's probably people coming across this country and we don't have a clue who they are because they throw their documents away in the middle of the sea. And that tells me straight away that if you're throwing your documents away, you've got something to hide. So um, we're now not only letting these people in, but we're also now putting them in hotels. And then eventually they're going to get council houses and they're going to settle down in the communities. But if that was the case, it might be a wee bit manageable because they're not settling down into our communities. They're going into their own communities and they're sticking together. They're protecting each other from all sorts of crimes, as heinous from child abuse to organised crime and drug dealing. And we see whenever grooming gangs go down and men are getting 20 odd years plus, their families support them. Their daughters shout out that they love them. This is extremism, you know. This is extremism. In our community, if somebody was to do such a thing, we would not be cheering them, you know. Families disown families for these kind of things. And it's that bad in this country that we use it as a weapon against decent people. The government will use it against people to try and silence people. And yeah, we are very different in the United Kingdom. And a lot of people come here because we're different, because we're not a Muslim country, because we're a Christian country, because we've got likes of Christmas and all that. They enjoy that. They enjoy Santa Claus. They enjoy their kids getting presents at Christmas and all the rest of it. They don't need to follow it to the letter, but they can sing the songs, you know. To be honest with you, right? So when I met my Muslim friends the first time when I was 18, I started listening to the music, Punjabi music, and I started enjoying it. Really, really did. You know, there was dance music that had Punjabi music in, you know, from Pakistan, and I enjoyed it and really, really got into it. And that's what it's like. That's what it's about. And it's the same for them. They can get into our carols and Christmas songs. It's no big deal, you know. We're very open-minded. I always keep saying this. We, the British, are some of the nicest people in the world. We're very open and we're very honest. You know, we've got bad eggs, of course we do. But in a general, we're an absolutely amazing country. But right now, the government has decided to destroy this amazing country. And they're doing it right in front of us. And anybody that argues about it, complains about it, they try and close down. But the battle goes on. Tulip, come here, hen. The battle goes on. By doing videos like this is what it's all about. By bringing awareness, by bringing people to the platforms like this fine woman, amazing. And obviously your link is in the description. Please watch the whole video. That's why I never showed you the whole video. The video was amazing. All her videos are amazing. You won't agree with everything. This is the whole point of democracy and the way we are. You're not going to agree with everything she says, you know. And but on the whole, she's a really nice person and a nice human being, and we've got to respect and understand that with everybody in society, every walk of life. And like, I hope this serves the purpose to you, and I hope you go forward now with confidence to be able to talk about things. That it's not just coming from Freedom Dad. It's not just coming from other right-wing content providers. You know, it's coming from the Muslim community as well, and there's many of them out there saying the exact same thing. There's a problem in Britain with extremism, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. And if we don't do something about it now, we're all in trouble. I'm Freedom Dad. I really hope you like this video. Going to get Tulip showered because she's looking a bit miserable and wet and dirty. So we're going to get her showered, get her dried, get the heating on, get a cup of tea, and wait for baby to wake up. So all my love, and as always, God bless.